What's going on, YouTube? It's me, Geoffrey, and I'm doing this is the first thing I'm doing now. This was a video that I've been anticipating to do, and I've routed up a good amount of comments for this video, and that is a question and answer video. Now, granted aside, this is actually my very first Q&A, so I'm just gonna read the comments and questions that I have collected through my Ask Geoffrey, submission page, as well as my Discord server, and I'm gonna answer them, as much as I can, if I can, get all these questions. Anyways, let's get to our very first question. Starting off with Lyra Heartstrings. She asked me, how do you find the ponies memes on Twitter, and why is she your friend? Well, it's one reason why. It's because the memes, the dank memes, are probably the reason why she's a friend. Not to mention that Lyra is also a good fan of Charmix. I miss Charmix because Charmix is a pretty good guy that reacted to a lot of funny videos on the internet. And probably the third thing is I just overall just like the character Lyra Heartstrings because she's a pretty popular pony in the, pony fan base, like as a fan favorite. Next question. Okay, so the next question is by Princess Todoroki Craft 88, and they said, what got you into the My Little Pony fandom, and what inspired your OC? Now, the thing that got me into the Brony fandom, aside from starting off by watching the My Little Pony show itself, when it came out, as well as collecting a few of the merchandise, the first thing that kind of got me into the My Little Pony fandom was actually one of those creepypastas. Like, it was either the Cupcakes creepypasta, or, well, it was these three things. It was either the Cupcakes creepypasta, the death battle between Rainbow Dash and Starscream, or, the gameplay of the Luna games, so to speak. It was either one of those three things. But if I was to say that got me into the fandom, I'd probably just say watching the show and just looking at a few reviews of it in general. And the other question, what inspired my OC? That's a very good question because, my OC that's green and red, currently, that you all know, this actually is not the, first design. So yeah, basically my OC was actually not originally green, medium green with a red mane and tail. He actually looked a whole lot different. Originally he was more of a dark emerald green, like the same emerald color that Emily from Thomas and Friends is. And the mane and tail was just Rainbow Dash's rainbow mane and tail, and the Q mark was just Rainbow Dash's Q mark, and that was lazy. The only difference was just no eyelashes and red eyes, and I just thought, one, that's kind of just dull and generic. So in 2017, I brought the OC back out of the obscurity, but officially made its public, appearance or debut appearance. Just be the all green with solid red mane and tail, but keep the red eyes and change up the Q mark. And another inspiration for my OC, well, this is a couple inspiration of character-wise. The inspirations for my OC came from Rainbow Dash for the shape, and the color palette the color palette for him, or me in general, for Pony-wise, you could probably say is the red was inspired by Mario, the red that Mario wears, and the green was inspired by what Luigi wears. Or if you want to be more specific, you could just say that the green was inspired by Yoshi and the red was inspired by, I'm trying to think who was red at the time. Probably Knuckles. So those are just a few things, but if you also want to be more specific, specific from other shows. You could also say that Percy and James are, are some good examples of this inspiration. Or you could just, if you want to go by holiday-wise, you could just say that the colors red and green, which are probably one of my favorite colors. Probably because they're just, well-known colors, and plus they're technically you could say that I was inspired by the Christmas holidays for this, but I'll just leave that all up for you guys to decide. And the final inspiration for my OC, generally wise, it's going to have to go to this one specific character who is green, and he was pretty cool back in the day. That's right, it's Dipsy from the Teletubbies. Because can't go wrong, he's pretty dope. Next question. Next question is from Blue Deuce. Are you gonna do a reaction video of Fail 4 or one of my gameplay videos? Maybe. I'll probably do that sometime if I have the time. Because I've got, multiple things to do in real life. And, yeah. Alright, so the next question comes from Cartoons. And he says, when can my OC be in your videos? Your OC's free to be in my videos anytime. I just gotta think of what video should I make that has you and me in the video. Next question that I was asked is by Grulaz, and they say this. Where have you been for so long? Have you ever been thinking of fixing up the saturation on the character if it looks a little too bright in some eye contrast? That's a pretty good question. I mean, like any other person, I can be pretty busy. I mean, hell, everyone's pretty busy. I mean, I'm trying to keep up with my YouTube stats now. I mean, I'm doing a little better at that, but as for the saturation, I'll put that in a consideration, but I kind of like the shade of green that I've got right now, because it just, it just reminds me of a few characters like Percy or Henry or Oliver, train-wise. But I'll put that under consideration. Okay, next question is by Queen Derpy Hooves, and they ask me this. Have you ever played Majora's Mask? I actually do remember playing a little bit of Majora's Mask as well as seeing gameplay of it. So yeah, I actually do remember playing Majora's Mask at one point, but it's just it was a very small section of it. I'm trying to remember which level or portion it was, but I think it was either the water section or is the canyon area. Where you encounter that guy that teaches you about the elegy of emptiness thing, and then it shows you the Ben Drowned statue. So yeah, I have played Majora's Mask. Alright, next question is by Sky, and he says, are you still working on Equestria The Dark Times? Yes, I already have completed Equestria The Dark Times, and I'm pretty sure you already saw it, so this might be a pretty late question. So yeah, I've already worked on Equestria The Dark Times, but I put all 3 parts up on YouTube. However, I might consider on turning it into a supercut or a movie almost, by combining the 3 episode parts, and maybe add a few extra scenes that weren't in the original cut. So yeah, technically it's still active. Alright, next question. Next question comes from Seam Beast 2114, and he asks, is there any anime that you would like to watch in the future and why? Well, so far when it comes to anime wise, I just finished watching, the season 2 of Beastars, when Beastars season 3 comes out, I would like to see it. But if there's any other anime I'd like to see or see more, I would probably have to say it would either be Death Note or possibly one of the Dragon Ball animes that are coming out soon. So yeah, those are my animes that I would like to take a look at. And why would I want to see them? Just to continue what the story is about. That's all I can say. Next question. Next question comes from Flunky or Floof. What is your favorite Ponytown custom server? Well, out of all my times in the past of playing Ponytown before I stopped playing it due to, bullshit reasons which will not be named. So, usually I'd always play on the main game. But if I was to choose a custom server, I'd probably have to say either not Sleepy Town, maybe Sleepy Town because they had cars, or Ash Town just because it had guns in the Fallout Equestria vibe. Generally, I like all the servers, but then again, I just don't seem to find them the whole Ponytown thing entertaining anymore. I think it's just a burning memory. It's just dull. And if there was any servers I still have access to, I'd pretty much just use it for just filming purposes. Besides, I only really even played them. I would only use sprites just for filming purposes. Next question. So far, that's all the questions on YouTube that I've received, but I do have some questions on Discord that will also be put in this Q&A because in general, it's just a Q&A. So, starting through the Discord questions from my friend Comrade Optimus, he asked me this. If you're an engine in Toss a Tank engine, what will you look like, for example, in E2, and what color would I be? Now, before I decided on being an E2, I thought I was going to be a green B12, but not as green as Alfred's. Otherwise, I'd just be like a GCR 280 with number 22, but instead, my official Thomas OC is just a green E2 with the extended side tanks. Same shape as Thomas, just painted green with red wheels with my name and the number 22. As for whistles, my whistle was originally going to be like a James whistle from seasons 4 through 5 or Henry's rare whistle. And so far, yeah, I'm an E2 tank engine. Yeah, my Thomas persona went through a lot of design and idea choices. So I chose the E2 form. Next question he asked is, as an engine, if I was to have one of the other characters as a girlfriend for my OC, who would it be? Well, technically for my OC's girlfriend, it currently is Sonata Dusk. But if Sonata wasn't an option, I would be good with being pals with either Fluttershy or Applejack. As for coaches, if I was to pull coaches as a train, I'd probably pull Hannah, who is the sister of Henrietta, and maybe Rolly the coach. Just because Rolly is just... Come on, you gotta feel bad for the poor guy. He doesn't even speak. Alright. Next question is by Lee, and he said, or they say this. Hey Geoffrey, how tall are you? That's a bit of a personal question, but I'm just gonna say 6'2". I'm 6'2". Alright, next question by user Chan Draws says, what is my weird food combos? My weird food combos has to be black beans and french fries on the same plate. Alrighty. Next question is by Ultra. And he says this, what is the dumbest thing you have ever done? The dumbest thing I ever done, well, technically I was trying to help out. I was trying to super glue a broken mug that I was trying to fix. But the stupid thing is the glue got on my fingers and I had to use nail polish remover to get it off. Which is why I use gloves when using super glue. And I recommend people using gloves when they use super glue so they don't glue their hands together to anything. Alright, next question. From Comrade Optimus again. Do you have any Phineas and Ferb stuff? No, I don't have any Phineas and Ferb stuff. Plus, the merchandise might be expensive. Would I make a Phineas and Ferb custom action figure? Maybe, if I have, the good skill of, sculpting wise. I mean, I think my custom action figure sculpting got better. Next question from Comrade Optimus is, will you do a remake of The Heavy is Dead using characters, like Thomas or anyone, or like me as the Heavy or any kinds? And maybe a remake about, that one Thomas parody called Henry and the Rain. Yes, I might actually do a remake of Henry and the Rain because it's funny. And that's all the questions I've got for you guys. So thanks for watching my first Q&A video, and feel free to leave a question whenever I make a new, announcement for part 2. Or you can just leave questions in this Q&A video's, comment section. And then I could put that into a part 2 if I ever make a part 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheerio, everyone.